Hello there everyone, welcome back. We are ready to continue. We are going to have a bit of an interesting find with Rebel potentially, but we are having a big upgrade package coming very soon. Just 1 point between us right now. And as I said, we are having a pretty big upgrade package coming. We got the front wing last time around. We are going to get an underfloor and also the rear wing ready here for Baku, which is going to make this next race a bit interesting. If we can actually just straight up dominate, that would be very, very promising for the future. If we can't, it's going to be a bit more problematic, but I think we'll be fine. We will rush it. That will allow us to have one extra rear wing for the race itself. And I shall remember this time to actually put it on the car. Hopefully. Manufacturing both pieces complete. Very nice. Board confidence is high. As you can see, we've really been falling backwards here now. Remember, at the start of the season, we were basically first in most of these stats. And now we've fallen back to, midfield on both high speed and low speed. So hopefully these upgrades will actually, make a difference because we're going to need it. Here we are. Baku is up next. Let's go into our warehouse. And we'll be putting on some new pieces. The chassis here is a cooling upgrade. We will not be using it. Front wing, we already put it on one of our cars, but we'll put it on the other one, which will actually, as you can see here, boost us pretty high up already. So that is pretty good. Let's get that onto the car itself. Puts us back into, kind of challenger position maybe. This railing is going to hurt our low speed cornering, which honestly is not great for Baku, but it's going to help our DRS top speed and acceleration, which is good. But again, that loss for the low speed corners is extremely minimal, so that is perfectly fine. And it's more than going to be made up for by our underfloor here, which as you can see, puts us into direct first once again for everything cornering related. So this should mean that we have once again a fairly dominant car here. We are the best team now at low speed cornering. Any type of cornering really, except for high speed. Apparently someone has a part for high speed cornering that is better than ours. Unless I have forgotten to put a part on Latifi's car that we have on Stroll's, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So we actually don't have the absolute best car in terms of high speed cornering. But currently they only have that part for one of their cars. So let's check Red Bull, our closest rivals here. And as you can see, they still have a pretty, I say significant, 0.14 kph max kph on us. We do have them pretty handily beat though in low speed cornering, about the same in medium, and a bit higher in high speed, so that is good. They still have the RS top speed on us, acceleration is about the same, but we do have a cornering advantage now. We are just slightly behind them on brake cooling by about 3%, so it's getting there. Again, we would have liked better top speed and acceleration on DRS. It would make overtaking a lot more easy for us, but we are currently the best accelerating team on the grid, so I think we can live with this. And I just realized that I completely forgot to start a new project after finishing that rear wing, so we wasted a few days for that. It happens. It's not a big concern. So we've made every part now, I believe, in version 3. We're making the last two here, the sidepod and the chassis, which means that if we really wanted to, we could do another underfloor. We are going to hold on to a suspension here because in 17 days we'll be making another one, so it doesn't really matter on that front. And honestly, I think we'll make, as I said earlier, 4 pieces a season maybe. It might be a bit too much. I'm also tempted to start doing research for next season, but as you can see, we don't really have any regulation changes. They're only the chassis and the sidepod. So there's no real reason to do research. Research would actually be detrimental, but I might do some on the sidepods and the chassis to keep them competitive for next season. So since we have everything balanced, we're going to go ahead and make another underfloor. It's just the most efficient use of our time, I believe, still. And as you can see, just making a balanced underfloor here would still be quite a decent upgrade. Optimized aero could help with dirty air. Low speed performance would give us a major boost in the low speed department by, you see, almost 25 point gap there, 0.025 that would be, 26 really. A little bit of a gain here, a little bit of a gain there. High speed, which is actually, it actually might be that we need to do the high speed one here to balance it out. But honestly, we've gotten to the point where balance is kind of viable. And what I mean by this is we have already the best part. We just need to kind of try and boost it equally. And over time, by doing this, since there are ceilings where you slow down, the higher your expertise is, the slower it goes up. And basically, if we do balanced, the lower expertise areas will start to catch up. They won't reach the same level, of course. It'll take way too long. But we will get closer. And I'm just a bit too lazy to do the math myself. So with that, we'll have another underfloor in 54 days. 2 months, we're in June, July, August. So beginning of August, we'll have another underfloor. And after that, we might start doing some research for the final season. We'll see. But for now, we'll head into Baku and hopefully have somewhat of a good race. Let's see how it goes. Once again, I eat my words here. We have arguably the best car. And we only managed a 6th and 11th in quali. I guess it's because they're just not used to the car pass yet, but that is fine, honestly. Expected strategies here are one-stops for most cars. Medium to soft to hard. Some might try medium, hard, soft. But generally here, we want to try and stay on the softs as long as we can. The time difference here is quite massive. Softs will be quicker for 15 laps. These are long laps too, so again, want to try and stay on them as long as we can. Same for medium to hard, quick for 15 laps. We don't really want to, you know, deal with them. So we'll stay off the hard as much as possible, unless we try something cheeky, like starting on the hards for maybe Latifi, and then go onto the softs towards the end, maybe. We'll see. Pit lane is also fairly short, just 22 seconds, 9-second time loss under safety car or virtual, so we will have a safety car. There's always a safety car at Baku. But we are starting pretty far back, and as you can see, it's not because I forgot to switch the engines in either, so the car's good. We just couldn't make anything, you know, couldn't make anything out of it. The parts are all in there too. The chassis, of course, we haven't upgraded yet because it's a downgrade. It's just engine cooling. So we'll have to see what we do here. I'm thinking for Latifi, you might just take the penalties. We are going to have to take penalties soon. I messed up our first opportunity of taking penalties, so I'm thinking we just take him here. It's not the worst place ever to take penalties too, that's the thing. And I'm thinking we just start Latifi on the soft, we'll go medium, we'll go soft. And that should be a decent enough strategy where he will be able to make up some places in the beginning. We do have a quick car. It has great acceleration, it has, you know, it's good at plenty of things. Let's just phrase it like that. And that should be enough that we can make something happen. So I actually had the perfect strategy lined up here and I just didn't doubt myself. So this is what we'll be going for. As you can see, a one-stopper is approximately 20 seconds slower. This one is approximately 8 seconds slower. But this will allow us to be a little bit more pushy. We will have a little bit of a gap down the tires on what we want to do. And we might as well just put Stroll on kind of the same strategy here. Of course, we'll be changing out what tires we do when and where, depending on safety cars. But I'm thinking we do this. It's just the easiest way to get things done, more or less. And that is what we'll be going for. Now, both our cars do have 2 sets of fresh tires. Well, fresh soft tires. So we'll have a soft tire advantage too throughout our entire stint. And let's face it, 3 laps used soft tires here, it's going to cost the other teams a bit in terms of time as well. So we're banking on that. And for Latifi, he is going to be starting in the back. Stroll is going to be starting 6th. But yeah, this was kind of a very, very disappointing quality, judging by how our car is and where we actually should be.
This is what you've been waiting for. It's the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's lights out.
Split strategies here in front for Red Bull again. Decent amount of soft runners around us, just 2 medium runners. And Latifi in the back there. For the most part, we have mediums. So this is going to be a tad bit interesting, maybe. Stroll already mixing up a place. Making up 2 places, actually. So the car is quick. We just need to
Okay, that's good.
We just couldn't get it working during quali. So we'll have to see now if the race is any better for us. We have the 2 Red Bulls, we have Gasly,
Looks like a good move for Williams.
and
Let's take a look at the replay. Now let's have a
we
look.
will, as I
It's
said, just try and make the
Stroll.
best out of it. So Stroll basically just got a good exit and drove between both of them to the corner. Latifi here just isn't getting any inroads made just yet. That is perfectly okay. Stroll actually gets Leclerc there as well. Very good. Might be that we should have put Latifi just on the hards and have him chill in the back there. Pit him a bit earlier maybe.
Take a look now. Now we see the Williams here.
So Stroll gets Leclerc into the corner there before going into the castle area. And are we going to get Gasly here on the straight maybe as well?
Overtake from Williams.
Oh really? Maybe next straight? Latifi did get Giovinazzi. He is moving upwards. So there we go. Picked up 3 positions immediately. We do have a lot of speed advantage over some of these slower cars. So it isn't that much of a surprise that Latifi can make something happen on the straights. And that is basically what he did here. Bit harder when the further back you are in terms of being bogged down. But for now, I think we're going to tune down the usage. We've already kind of left Leclerc behind, so he is still running probably a bad engine or just damaged machinery. We will be working a little bit here on Latifi, but for now we'll tune down fuel usage. We'll just try and stay within DRS, recharge, and I'll be trying to move Latifi up. Stroll can just sit where he is, provided we stay with Verstappen and Gasly. And yeah, we'll keep things somewhat stable. I'll start working on Latifi. I'll try and recharge Stroll, and we'll see where we're at around the first pit stop. Well, we have a safety car, and unfortunately it's Latifi that is the cause.
Now let's look. We're watching Nicholas Latifi.
So he locks up and then just buries him into the wall. You can barely see the front. Just a tire sticking out. Jesus. So yeah, Latifi attempted an assassination here, but apparently he still survived. But I would assume that is damage to the chassis. Yeah, minor damage. Front-wing terminal damage. I'd be inclined to agree. I'm surprised to notice he's still there, honestly. He didn't damage his engine, ERS, or anything like that. And to be fair, he just made up to 15th place. So honestly, this doesn't actually negatively hurt him in any way, shape, or form. And I'm thinking that we actually do put him on the hards here. We're going to put him on the hards, and we'll do a final stint on... Wait, we do need to... Okay, do that automatically. We'll put him on the hards, and we'll do a final stint on the... Again, hards isn't great here. But it'll bridge this gap, and it should still be able to stay with the back of the pack. We'll lose about 8 seconds, so... It's okay, because again, we'll be pitting in a safety car. We'll be back at the grid most likely. So, let's just attack and do this. The Stroll, same. I'm thinking we're going to be keeping Stroll out. There is no need to pit him. It would just be a loss of a bunch of positions. But yeah, we did get our safety car. Latifi was the cause. And he took out the, you know,
I think there's been contact on the
opposition here. But I want to have a look at that again, because it looked pretty gnarly. Locks up, sends him, and then T-bones him. Yeah, that is... That's actually horrible to look at now, I think about it. Really hope we don't have a situation like that during a an actual race, because that would be really scary. Yeah, now we are... Latifi did serve his penalty as well, so he got that out of the way. And he will make it to the back of the grid. Well, not back of the grid, back of the pack. So, from Latifi's perspective, this has kind of benefited him, if not for the damage to the chassis. Okay, maybe not, because he won't get fully to the back here. Now, we could try and get some overtaking done here, too. Push. Gonna keep going neutral for the time being. And for Latifi, might just be that they slowed down just about enough that he caught up to the back, and I think almost got an overtake done because of it. So this really did work out for him a little bit better than it should have, I'll be honest. And he already got Geo. So yeah, definitely worked out way better than it should have. Honestly, I think let's try and get ahead here for Stroll, but we could also just sit behind and save energy. That wouldn't be a bad move. For Latifi here, we are using a lot of energy, but he is running out of energy to use this lap, so it should be okay. Gonna tune him down to neutral though, maybe do a little bit of recharge behind Vettel here, because he has already made up 2 positions. He's basically back where he started, just with fresher tires. So, kind of did benefit him, as badly as that sounds. Stroll is now up into first. We'll put him on neutral. I am tempted to use deploy though, but I don't think we're gonna be able to run away from Verstappen. So, as long as we get the gap to Leclerc reinstated, that's fine.
DRS enabled.
Although Leclerc wasn't left behind before, but he is now, and that's what we kind of like seeing here. For Stroll, we are getting close to that first pit window, but we might stretch these softs for just a couple extra laps because of the safety car. The softs are still good. And for Latifi here, he's apparently fighting a little bit with Behrman and kind of getting slowed down by that. So we'll put him back up to neutral. That should allow him to just, you know, pull away and maybe get back up to the back of Vettel here. Tune down fuel usage. Pit window for Stroll has entered, but as I said, we are going to be stretching a little bit. Vettel did pit there. He's one of the soft runners. And Gasly and Leclerc will also be pitting, I think, within just a few laps here. But I think we will be okay with staying out longer because of the safety car, you know, causing these gaps to be very, very close. And we would like to reinstate some of the, you know, longer gaps here. It's going to be difficult. But let's say that we have a Verstappen here to kind of help pull us along. And if we use that, it could definitely be worked to our advantage, even if we run the tires into the ground. So we'll wait a little bit longer with pitting. We'll try and get Latifi up here, but honestly, he's going to be slower for a long while. So we'll do the best out of it. Can't really guarantee much. So this is lap when we usually would have pitted, and as you see, a lot of cars have already pitted in behind Latifi here. And the thing is, all of them will be going onto the harder tires. So us staying out isn't necessarily a very, very bad thing. Because, well, they'll be somewhat quicker, but they'll also be somewhat slower at the same time. And what I mean by this is actually very, very simple. These gaps here are very, very good for us right now. So honestly, pitting wouldn't be the worst idea. I know that I contradict myself a lot with what I'm saying here, but basically we have a choice. We can stay out and try and make the more out of these tires to have advantage later. Or we can pit and try and get into a gap, say, a gap that benefits us. Honestly, right now, there aren't that many of them. Let's be honest here, we'd have to try and come out ahead of Leclerc. But we've had a crash here, yellow flag. And I don't know if this is going to be enough for a pit stop. Doesn't look like anyone is parked. Nope. So Tsunoda has crashed. That did seem pretty hard. So that's basically what would have happened to Latifi had he not, you know, taken out show. Let's face it, if we pit, we're going to come out behind Latifi, Norris, Behrman, Gio, maybe even Gasly. So honestly, we probably should at this stage anyways. So let's get Stroll in. Probably should have done it just last lap like I should have. Like I was planning. But I think this is also okay. We stretch this off a couple of laps more. We'll be able to have more going for us on the mediums. And actually a lot of the cars did pit here. So we do come out ahead of Gasly. We have gaps now to work with in this DRS train. That means overtaking shouldn't be that much of a problem. And the only thing now is that we want to kind of get away from Gasly. Honestly, as soon as possible. Because, well, we have Leclerc following in the back as well. So get to Gio, hopefully before the main straight here. And we actually pulled away from Gasly as well. That should be making, you know, getting by Gio here just a, you know, walk in the park. For Latifi, we can all probably just tell him to, you know, not fight your teammate. Try and stick with him. That would work. And I think we will. So in just a few seconds here, they're going to catch up. In terms of lap times, I'm imagining Stroll is quite a lot quicker than Latifi is on the older set of halves right now. And that's because Gio is doing a lovely job holding up Gasly. Which is also why I kind of want to give the order to Latifi to just let Stroll go. Because if not, I think he might hold up Stroll more than we'd like. But Latifi is now part of that DRS train as well, so that does cause some concerns. Let's say don't fight teammate. There we go. Just let him go. And Latifi is now part of the DRS train. We'll have to try and make our way through this pretty rapidly here, honestly, but we don't have to. They all pitted, so we have free air. That's lovely. We're just 12 seconds behind Verstappen. Verstappen is going to be pitting onto, I assume, hards for a one-stop pit stop. And that'll be, again, just a huge advantage to us. Stroll is with Bottas. He actually just straight up gets him. I don't think I can micromanage Latifi in any way where he will actually keep up. And now we actually have everyone pitting. So I can, if I want to now, slow Stroll down just a tad. So we have Latifi within DRS range. And I'm going to try and micromanage that, but it's going to be difficult. But if we can keep Bottas and Stroll within... Sorry, Bottas and Latifi within DRS range, that would be huge. But look at that, Bottas is just incredibly slow, so that's going to be difficult. Latifi should have no problem just going by him here, and maybe even blocking him from entering the pit lane. But yeah, I don't think I can slow Stroll down enough that Latifi will be able to take advantage. But I can have Latifi stay with, you know, Verstappen and Gasly. And them in turn will be able to help his tires last longer, which will make him a threat later on. So for now, we're just going to allow time to progress until lap 35. Basically when we want to try and pit both our boys. And looking forward to seeing how things looks by then, unless of course we have another incident. There we are, lap, well, it's a bit late to push for Latifi. Been focusing on Stroll again. Latifi did get left behind. Tried everything, tried energy, tried basically everything. They're just running way too quick for him. As you can see, 49, 6 versus 47s. So he got left behind a few laps ago. Not much we could do. Stroll here has now potential of coming out around 9th. There's still going to be DRS trains and, you know, problems with that. But we are going to be pitting this lap. It's just no way around it. We're estimated to come out 10th. So basically where Albon is. So we'll see how precise that is. We are going to be pitting Latifi here too. And he's going to have a bit of a rough time because he's going to have to go through basically everyone. But what's currently happening is that he's going to be slowly falling backwards as his hard tires start to become really, really bad. And he is going to have to pit anyways before the end of the race. So we're going to pit him now. And we are going to be trying to make, you know, something happen there. So Stroll comes out actually ahead of Sainz. As you see, ahead of Sainz, because they have to take this corner very slowly. And this puts us in a very good position now, because we just have to get by Leclerc, which should be super simple. And then we have less than 10 seconds up here now to Gasly and Verstappen. Latifi, of course, did suffer way more, because he was that much further back. And honestly, we'll wait with pushing fuel until we're at the back of the cars in front, and we'll use that as our kind of advantage here. And Stroll has already gone up to Leclerc. Let's face it, he should get him on the main straight here. Then we'll use some, well, he can actually get him before that. Then we'll use some ERS to just pull away outside of DRS, hopefully, in this section, next lap. Because I don't want to be Leclerc's tugboat, to put it that way. Let's deploy. We can, once we get to Verstappen, Gasly, we can just recharge, fly by them, and do the same thing. It's pretty easy. And for Latifi, he's actually gone up to the back of the cars in front. Honestly, should have him on recharge too, a bit earlier. But he has actually a lot bigger of a DRS trainer to contend with. Norris actually caught up. So a bit more of a harder challenge there for Latifi, although he's already making the move even while recharging, so that's looking good. And we'll recharge for another lap or two, and then get the job done. For Stroll here, we can probably already just recharge. but we've already had a crash now that could really backfire. Virtual safety car. That's gonna lead to some pit stops for sure.
DRS is currently disabled.
Could actually be really bad for Stroll, because they'll be able to come out, you know, behind him. But us crashed on turn 8, okay. So Castle. That might potentially be a red flag crash, in all honesty. So Gasly has pitted. Verstappen stays out. Albon pits, Vettel pits, Russell pits. Not a lot of pit stops here, but Latifi gets some free jumps here due to it. I can't complain about that. But we still do need to make our way back up. Should probably stop recharging because, well, it loses time. And we will have extra tire life. We won't be able to push fuel. And generally this does benefit us. Gasly does fall back a fair bit, and we still have tire advantage over him. Virtual safety car ends soon. I'm thinking that we do have Latifi just push. We'll do the same here for Stroll. Just get by quick.
Without DRS.
And we also give Latifi just overtake immediately. See if he can get by. And for Stroll, we'll give him overtake once he... Well, we won't give him overtake. We're going to use deploy to just run away from Verstappen. Latifi did get by Perez, so he's done a good job here. Now has just 2 cars in front of him. Time to deploy for Stroll. Get away from Verstappen. And for Latifi, we're just going to do the same. Give him overtake into this next section. Although he should be able to take Russell without problems here. And Stroll has already pulled 2 seconds away from... 2 seconds away from Verstappen, so we'll just leave him be. He can push a little bit more fuel. Get that up to about 5 seconds. And Latifi should have not really any problems getting by Russell here. But the thing is, Russell has fresh tires as well. He's also running softs. So I don't know which one is quicker, but we are catching the car in front by 2 seconds a lap. Both Magnussen and Rick. Same for Sainz Leclerc. Not as much for Verstappen because he's a monster. But with 10 laps to go, if we gain a second and a half each lap, we might make our way up to Leclerc to potentially fight him. But Russell is, I feel, kind of a roadblock right now. But we'll tune down Latifi for a couple of laps, recharge him, tune down Stroll here. And honestly, Stroll, probably won't touch it unless something very, very special happens. Before Latifi here now, we will be working on him to the end. So speed things up just a little bit while we recharge. Keep an eye on this so we don't fall out of DRS. And I'm thinking this is when we try and make a move now. And immediately gets it done. Put him back to neutral. We can still push fuel. We are going to be quicker than, I think, Russell if we just push fuel a little bit. And we don't really have too many laps to up because I don't really want to use energy here. But he might just straight up overtake us here in the DRS zone. Not quite, but still close. Last lap, we gained just about 2 seconds on Rick, but we did get overtaken by Russell. Did get it back though, so... Honestly, once we catch Rick, we need to just get by immediately. That's going to be the play here. Get by immediately, and hope that Rick kind of is slowing down Russell just a little bit, because we are actually kind of dragging him along here. Didn't actually gain much time that lap. It's 1.4, okay. Rick's running a bit quicker. Yeah, the muck is causing us just a tad bit of trouble right now. 5 laps to go. Stroll with a good 10-second lead out front. Very, very nice. And we now do have a bit of a problem here with the... you know, this is what we wanted to avoid. We wanted to be the ones in charge of the DRS train, but we aren't, so that's going to be a bit problematic here. Now, if Latifi actually gets Russell here, that would actually be amazing. But he lost it again immediately. Not much we can do about that. Tune it down for a couple laps here now, maybe. Unless we have some, you know, major going on. Because we are going to try and fight for that 6th position for sure. We'll basically going to be using tyre to try and get that done. And Russell and Gasly are on the better tyre, so the goal here is going to be 6th, most likely. With 2 laps to go, I don't think we're going to catch up to Russell again, and I don't think Russell's going to catch Sainz, so that kind of does limit what we can do. Just a tad. So let's see if we can get some moves done here. We have Leclerc in front of us, the Red Bull. We have Magnussen up next. And we kind of did use all our energy to pull that off. So we're going to keep it aggressive for the last couple of laps. Should be okay. Should pull some gaps. Magnussen is kind of coming back on us there. Magnussen being a bit of a threat here, but I think we got it. We won't catch Russell though. We kind of want to be in Russell's position, trying to chase down Sainz.
Starting the final lap.
But we were unfortunately not able to do that. Latifi does seem to be kind of safe right now, tuned down to standard. That should be okay, I think. It's just to lessen risk at this point. Stroll wins.
That's the flag.
Verstappen comes 2nd. And it's a bit unfortunate for Latifi having that incident at the, taking our show. But I think we're still fine. Bottas with another crash on the final lap.
Here's the Ferrari. They've lost control, and
That looks like a did not finish crash. And it was. Okay, Baku didn't go exactly as we'd hoped. We won. But Latifi did have some problems. Well, Stroll too in terms of quali. Did take penalties though. Got in the points. Can't be too angry at that. Beat the other Red Bull. Honestly, mission complete. Would have liked him to have a little bit higher, but Russell kind of put a stop to that. Not much we can do about that. Driving Championship then. We are now 5 points ahead of Leclerc. Verstappen has tied Latifi for 4th and 3rd. So, yeah, Verstappen is still, I'm feeling the threat, but we'll see. In terms of constructors then, we do pull 4 points away. We're now 5 points ahead. So, could end up with kind of a fight here. Both Alphas in the points, only one Ferrari, a Merc, and yeah, that is about it. Point for Stroll, development incoming. There we are. Let us put this in adaptability. It's the lowest stat from the bottom. Racing manufacturer completed, very good. Post-race overview. I'm just going to have a quick look here just to be on the safe side. Because it tells us we have the best car in cornering, but we're lacking still top speed. So, do need to work a little bit on that, I think. High speed. I'm wondering who has that high speed. It's actually the Ferrari. So it's Sainz's Ferrari that has that high speed advantage over us. And it is just 0.001 points. So it's very, very minor. It's very acceptable. Not much we can do about that. We're going to Canada in 4 days, and then we'll have chassis afterwards. So let's head to Canada. Let's see if we can get a good race there. Maybe get our boys a little bit more used to the car. Hopefully a better quality, and hopefully a better result. Let's see how it goes. We're still lacking quality pace, as you can see, 9th and 6th. Not really working at the moment. Latifi had a way faster lap than Stroll. Don't know why. Maybe Stroll just had a bad day. Same for Latifi here, back in Canada. Expected strategies here are one stops for the most part, medium, soft to hard, or medium, hard, soft. Compound performance here. The softs are going to be quicker than the mediums for about 20-ish laps, close to it at least. And the mediums are going to be quicker than the hards for about the same amount of time, around 20 laps. So 2 stoppers here could be very, very effective. It's a short pit stop, just 19 seconds. It's also very, very likely we get safety cars and virtual safety cars. So I think planning for a 2-stopper is to play here. So starting 6th and 9th, that's gonna be pretty bad. Now, we did have one boon, and that is that Q1 was wet, and Leclerc did not make it out of Q1. But at the same time, I would have expected us to really do better here. This is qualifying. We have Stroll here doing a 421, 398, and then a 162 as his best in the qualifying run here. Just generally a bit bad. If he'd done this number, he'd be up here. And, well, we just didn't have a good time. Latifi too. This was a bit of an outlier. Again, worst time here, running fresh softs. Yeah, this was done on used softs, so I'm honestly a bit baffled and confused, but not much we can do about it at this stage. They do have 100% knowledge of the car parts, the setups are good, so again, not much we can do about it. I think we're going to do, again, just the aggressive strategy here. Get a little bit further up, a little bit quicker. Do about 20 laps on the mediums. We're going to have to do a little bit more than that, as it turns out. 23, 23, 33. Let's do something like this. I think that should be okay. Oh, that's actually quicker. Just being that 1.5 hour mark by a second in theory. I think we'll do something like this. It should be pretty quick. It's quicker than the other strategies. But of course that is reliant on us getting past the cars in front. And that is not always a given. So we'll have to see how we handle that. But I think it's doable. So we'll put both our cars on that same strategy. We'll give them push over fuel. Did I put this or did the game just remember it? Because if so, did they actually have an update that I have not realized? Give me a sec before we start this race. I actually need to check if I am functioning correctly. Give me a second. No, as it turns out, it's just me being still a bit scatterbrained, but it's fine. We'll be doing push and overtake. We'll be doing the two-stopper. And we'll just be getting into the race. I think it's the best strategy. It's a shame that we still are really, really bad at qualifying. Need a little bit of extra top speed, I guess.
This is it. We're moments away
but
now,
yeah, should still be okay. So I actually have a McLaren on the front line. And in terms of tyres, there are mostly medium runners around us. We have Rick here on softs. Same with Verstappen. Latifi is fighting Gio. He's not very happy. Stroll is Stroll has a chance here to do some attacking.
That's good. That's good.
He's getting that done.
And a new position just gained by Williams.
And is he going to send it into the next corner as well? No, not really. This is an acceptable start. Latifi losing at one position is not nice, but it happens. Stroll gaining one is also very, very acceptable. And generally here, I think this does give us some opportunities. There is a bit of a gap forming though between Gasly and Verstappen. So we'd like to close that down and get by quickly as possible. We do want to stay with Verstappen here. That is going to be the goal. And Verstappen is also running a soft strategy. So that makes it even more important that we stick with them. Or, you know, just drive by and that works too. So Stroll is being very aggressive here. He did get by Verstappen, did get by Gasly. And right now we have DRS. We can tune down a little bit here. I think for Latifi though, we're still going to be pushing for a lap or two. Because we kind of want to try and make a little bit more out of it. 8 is still not great, but it's kind of what we have to just live with. And Verstappen is slowly falling back a tiny bit here. I think he'll get it back once we start DRSing a little bit more. Stroll gets Sainz, meaning that we just have Norris. Potentially, could pull away then, because the McLaren is not super quick. I say as he's running first. But it could give us the opportunity to get a gap forming. If we say pull Norris along and leave Sainz behind. Maybe, we'll see. Stroll is running first. We have Latifi in 8th. There is a gap down to Russell. We'll be trying to move Latifi upwards as the race progresses, but for now, we'll just keep things going. Russell did catch back up. And it looks like Stroll and Norris are going to be switching back and forth probably a lot here. So we'll recharge Stroll, we'll recharge Latifi, and we'll try and get as high as we can with Latifi before lap 23, and we'll try and just maintain Stroll's position until then. we have the first set of pit stoppers here. As you can see, they are getting in there. I think that we are going to go a little bit aggressive here now and maybe pit a tad bit earlier. We have the flexibility to do so. And the reason why I want to do this is very simply because the gaps that are going to be, well, forming here now. And because of these pit stops. There are still a lot of soft runners. They're going to be pitting around within the next 3-4 laps. Tires are severely overheating. Let's tune that down to aggressive then for you. But we want to also push Stroll here. The reason why we're pushing Stroll now for a couple laps before pitting is actually twofold. The first reason is because by doing this, we can hopefully... Actually, we'll be having Stroll push for 2 laps, and then we'll be pitting Latifi this one. Just so they don't, you know, stumble over each other. Now, the reason why we're doing this for Stroll is twofold, as I said. We want to try and have Stroll be a bit aggressive, push as hard as he can, and maybe create some gaps here like we have with the 2 Mercs. There's not really a lot of holes in the DRS net here. And that is going to make it difficult to, you know, get back up once we actually do pit, like we do with Latifi now. So that is the reason why we are pushing. It's not really working for the intended purpose. Of course, we do want to push on the in-lap. But that is the main reason why I pushed as aggressively as I wanted here, to create those gaps where we can, when we pit ourselves, of course, just get back up without losing too much time. You know, get back through the slower cars, so to speak. So Stroll will be pitting this lap. Latifi has already pitted, came out 16th. He does have free air though, which is nice. But it's 8 seconds there to work with. And there are still a lot of soft runners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So taking that into account, as I said, Latifi is actually going to almost overtake Stroll there. So, well, second game there, he was about 2.7 behind on the previous lap there. But this is looking promising then. Latifi then can potentially jump everyone in front. Unless, of course, we get stuck behind other slower cars. Again, pit window here is until lap 29. So we are going to have cars that potentially will be pitting within the next 5 months. So it's a bit difficult to gauge, really. There we go, Norris is now pitting. Let's see if Latifi comes out ahead. It should. And I also want Latifi to just get by Tsunoda here and hopefully stay with Stroll. I don't really want to slow Stroll down for this though, so let's just have him push fuel. Run his tires slightly more aggressively just to get within that DRS window. And that should help him, you know, stay ahead of the cars in front.
You're doing very good. Lap time out good. Lap time out good.
So as you can see that, Latifi did set fastest lap.
Copy.
Came out ahead of Norris. Again, Norris and Sainz were the leaders. And now we're going to have a bit more of a problem in terms of overtaking. Leclerc's in front. Still 3, you know, older tire runners. So there are going to be gaps in this DRS train once they do pit. Sainz is pitting now. Actually, everyone is pitting now except for Bottas and Ocon. So this is looking promising. Stroll and Latifi kind of just switching back and forth. Still have a bit of an advantage over Norris, but let's face it, Ocon and Bottas should be fairly easy to get by. Ocon should be pitting, and then Bottas, well, Bottas did too. So for now, we'll just try and retain where we are until lap 46, 47, when we will be doing our final pit stop. We've had an incident here with Stroll, unfortunately. He did spin out. We have been caught by McLaren and the Red Bull. And that is fairly unfortunate. Should just be 1 position though and some time. So, lost about 6 seconds, well 5 seconds in that spin. Not much we can do about that.
Sorry.
Luckily, no damage to the car.
Okay.
We can go a little bit of full attack here until the pit stop. It's just a couple laps before, so we'll be pushing. I'm thinking we just tune Latifi down a little bit here, in the hopes that it will allow Stroll to gain a little bit before this pit stop. It's still not going to be great. We do have fuel though, so we can actually push that too if we want to, and we probably will. So it's 2 laps before we pit. Push fuel, push tires. Honestly, just do what we can for both cars. And I'm thinking we pit Latifi this lap. He's just running first. It just makes more sense. And the main concern here, though, is Gasly, well, Magnussen here. As long as we can get out ahead of Magnussen, we will be good. And I think we will, so I won't be too concerned on that front. And again, they're all running older hards, so we should have somewhat of an advantage. Potentially, I should just pit Stroll instead of Latifi. But the fact of the matter here is that Stroll is going to have a bad time here no matter how we do this pit stop because of this huge DRS train. As you can see, Latifi is just going to barely get out ahead of it, which is going to give him a huge opportunity to actually win, you know, the race. But at the same time, Stroll's gonna have a bad time. There's just no way around that. Even if I delayed this pit stop, he's not gonna get enough time to get, you know, the pit stop done and come out ahead. So the only thing we could have done was stay out, hope for a safety car, and that's a bit too much of a gamble for me. And he actually did come out just ahead. That's brilliant. Okay, I want to give the pit crew hugs and kisses. Pit crew did an amazing job there, but we don't want to pull this huge train with us, so bye-bye train. We are leaving you. Hopefully we are leaving you. Multiple cars have crashed. Is this an incident where we get screwed by a safety car? Doesn't look like it. Just looks like we've had multiple cars crashed incident. And it looks like it's the Haas's.
Now just focus on the Haas.
Well, one Haas.
Oh no! And there's the crash.
That looked kind of like man didn't have brakes, to be honest. We're gonna push and deploy it. We're just not making these soft tires really work here, honestly. Like, in terms of lap times, Latifi is doing great. 1.3 seconds quicker than Verstappen. But Stroll just can't get away from Paris.
Check the DRS.
Did push a bit out of that. 15.9, 15... Oh, 114. Okay, that should have been, you know, pushed pretty aggressively away then. I think we're good. For Latifi, he's going to come up to the cars in front, but I don't think we'll have an easy time here. We'll see where we're at towards the end, unless something, you know, interesting happens before then. We've had another incident here. Schumacher is off. We're also getting very close to the top 3 with both our cars. 10 laps to go, 3 seconds. It's very, very doable at this stage.
There's Schumacher.
And that's another Red Bull. That's the other one. Didn't touch him though, so at least that is good. But yeah, that shouldn't be a safety car. So as you can see here, Stroll, Latifi running together. Just 2 seconds now off the leaders. We might need to recharge Stroll a little bit, but Latifi is looking good in terms of both energy and fuel. So we are virtually within striking distance. I don't think it's going to be, you know, much of a problem. We have been running 1.5 seconds quicker than them for basically the entire stint. So should just take around 10 laps. And Verstappen here now is, because of his defending, kind of getting left behind. But I'm thinking we just give Stroll the overtake. That should be more than enough here. They're just that much slower than us. And then we'll move Latifi through afterwards. Although we could honestly tell Stroll to slow down. Let Latifi try his hand first, because, you know, energy. But we'll give Latifi the overtake here too, which shouldn't be problematic. There's a lot of back and forth there, as you can see up front. But Stroll now is in second position, leading. And once we get Latifi up here too now, I think we'll be looking very, very promising here. Now the problem with Stroll is, with Stroll in charge of the DRS train, Latifi is going to have a harder time getting the overtakes done. So we'll give him the push, we'll give him the overtake, and that should be hopefully enough here to get some moves made. And also, for the parts of the track that aren't DRS zones, we can probably have...
So what DRS?
Well, we did use all of our DRS there. We could probably have Stroll just recharge and slow the pack down that way. But we are going to need a bit more energy too, because we do want to try and pull away. We do also want to get, as I said, Latifi a little bit higher up. So we have a couple of challenges here. We caught up, but the logistics are going to be a bit of an issue, potentially. And as you can see, Verstappen is back up. So if you can sit there, recharge for a couple of laps, get full energy, get full everything, that might very well be what we'll need to get the job done here. So at the end of this one, I think we'll just put it back to neutral. We'll allow them to just run a lap like this, get up close. And then we'll have Stroll, you know, try and make a move. It's just a few laps left. Once we're outside of DRS maybe. Yellow flag, sector 2. Penalty for Behrman.
Sounds like someone's locked up. We can take a look now. Now just focus on the Haas.
Okay, so he touched the Aston, unfortunately. And while that happened, Stroll took the lead. So the question is now, how do we want to play this? Because we could try and deploy and run away. But that would require us to probably run full attack to even have a chance. I think we're just going to have to sit where we are and try and have Latifi move up here. Under the kind of defensive Stroll. Because we don't want to be sitting first during this DRS zone anyways. There we go. Can Latifi 2 get Stroll, sorry, not Stroll, Verstappen now? That would be the icing on the cake. Because then we have Latifi as kind of a barrier. A defense against the Verstappen arts. There we go. 2 now in fuel usage for...
And this will be the last lap.
Okay, that gave me a mini heart attack.
Okay.
Competitive crash again.
We've had a crash.
Magnussen.
Let's take a closer look. Now let's watch this. The Alfa Romeo involved in this one.
A lot of lockups into that hairpin corner. But yeah, the announcement for last lap that did give me a mini heart attack. So Stroll, we're just gonna have him defend. It's fine. And we can push fuel for both our boys here. These last 2 corners, last 2 straights. And that should be a Canadian 1-2 for the home race. At least we did disappoint back at home. So that is very, very nice. Verstappen 3rd. That's honestly probably the only negative part of this race. Honestly, though, it's been pretty good. Leclerc couldn't make any headway from starting on the back of the grid. And Norris scoring points for McLaren, Ferrari, Alfa, Alpine, and Merc. So, except for us, all different teams. And I'd say that is acceptable. The estimated time, we're about 3 seconds off. Again, the estimated was 1:29. Well, 9. So, just a few seconds off the estimation, which we'll take. With this, we now get a bigger lead in the championship, up to 15 points. And Latifi takes back his 3rd place, 2 points ahead of Verstappen. Constructors, we now have a huge gain in points over the Red Bulls. We are 17 points ahead. And that is very, very good to see. Double 1 point for Latifi. Very huge amount of points here for both of them. As you can see, Stroll had 33 successful overtakes, 5 successful defense, 53 failed, and 26 failed defense. So if you take that into consideration, he tried 88 overtakes during this race, which is more than an overtake a lap. So definitely been aggressive for sure. He also had probably a defense per lap as well. So we were running a long time with cars and fighting them. We do have that new chassis now, which is actually going to close down the gap between us and the other cars quite considerably. We also put a point into cornering for Latifi, his lowest stat. And honestly, I should put into braking because he isn't 90 yet, but it's fine. It is what it is. So yeah, we'll be manufacturing this chassis. We have 11 days for the British Grand Prix. If we rush it, we can get both of them done in time, which is very nice. And we can also immediately start a new project, which should be suspension, but again, 7 days until the, you know, next timing. Now, I believe that the current chassis is going to give us 0.07 as an upgrade, so this chassis would not be an upgrade at all. So we will not be making that. What we will instead be doing is making another front wing that is focused on, well, honestly, running a balanced one is fine at this stage. It would give us a tiny bit of optimized cooling. We could actually make a cooling focused front wing and still be okay. And I think we will, because the stability that we get from not crashing every time we do something will benefit us in the long run. We'll probably have to focus down cooling on the suspension too down the line, but that is fine. Chassis is in low stock. That is fine. We are making a new chassis. What I should manufacture though is an extra front wing. There we are. And we now have that new aerodynamic period. We're also going to get new side pods. These won't be ready for the race though. No way. But we are going to be manufacturing these. I think they're good. Let's just go check to be absolutely sure. They should be good because they are made with the... They are not good. We will not be manufacturing these. I have been lying to myself. Okay. It was the chassis we made with CFD. Now it makes sense. Okay. Design new suspension. Again, won't be cooling focused because CFD doesn't have an effect on cooling. So no need to focus on that. It's going to lower our cooling a tad. Unfortunately, but it's going to make our suspension the best on the grid, which is a sacrifice that I'm more than willing to make. This will also close down our gap to the Red Bulls significantly in terms of top speed, so I'll take it. We'll make it race performance to get even better boosts. And again, it's going to lower our percentage on the brake cooling, but we can get that back by making a focused effort later, honestly. So it's a sacrifice, but it's one that I'm willing to make. We do need a little bit more race pace, as was shown in that last race where we were very close to winning. Urban's contract, we're going to extend it at the end of the year, I think. Poche's contract. Honestly, I'd like to hear what you guys think, because I think we still need to develop him more to be competitive, honestly. If you're going to release him as, you know, an alternative, so we might renew him as well. We do have Silverstone coming up right now, which should be fine. But before that, let's go and find that new chassis of ours. And as you can see, this is going to actually be big. Someone has made a low speed upgrade though. As you can see, we've now moved down to second. So that is going to be a bit interesting. But the speed boost and acceleration boost here is going to be really nice. It's going to bring us up in DRS as well. And if you take into account that we're basically making it an identical upgrade that is for the suspension, our car is reaching basically maximum performance. So we'll have to see, as I said, once we made 4 edition out of everything, I think I'm just going to say that the limit gets released a little bit there. Maybe do some research a bit earlier. We'll see. However, let's jump into this straight to Silverstone and we'll see how we do here. Well, it is completed. This one went a bit better. We had rain in Q3. It was a wet fall for the entire time, and towards the end it started letting up, meaning that since we went at last, we had a huge tire advantage. Latifi could not convert, however, Stroll did, as you can see, and as a result, Stroll is starting in pole, Latifi starting 7th. Will not be wet during the race itself, so we'll have to deal with things as they go. Strategies here are expected to be 2 stops with a potential medium to hard 1 stopper. Compound performance, softs will be quicker than the mediums for about 10 laps, and the mediums will be quicker than the hards for about 30 laps. So with that in mind, we want to avoid the hards and maybe do a soft medium run, potentially. Short pit lane, just 21 seconds, so good chance of doing a, you know, soft medium 1 stopper. And that is what we're going to try and set up here, I think. I think that's just the best way of doing things, probably. We don't actually have an extra set of medium, though. That is going to... Wait, do we not have 2 sets of medium? We don't? Okay. Okay, I simulated practice. They've clearly done some shenanigans here, unfortunately. That's bad for us. I assume... that puts us in a, you know, questionable position. We can't do that strategy. We could do this. How viable would a soft, medium, soft run be? Because that's kind of what we're forced to do now. It's viable. It's quicker than this one. But again, if we had a set of mediums, I think it would be even quicker. So we're just going to do that. For Stroll here, we're going to put him on softs. We're going to have him try and create, you know, a bit of a gap. And then we'll put him onto more soft towards the end. We're actually quite free on when we want to go on that second set of softs, as you can see. I think this is the best we can do because we lack mediums. Stroll does the same. Probably again due to just weird weather causing issues. But it is what it is. We'll just have to deal with the situation at hand. This might not be the best strategy, in all honesty, but I think it's the most reliable one. And we can see that Latifi has actually moved up a position due to penalties, so I'm wondering who has been moved down. Magnussen, okay. So we'll have both Red Bulls right behind us, which is not very promising. But at the same time, I think it should be okay. We're just going to have to do a bit of a gamble here. But I think it's a gamble that's going to be worth it.
Hold on tight. It's the British Grand Prix. And it's
medium.
And away we go.
Yeah, we are the only soft runners here. Not unsurprising. And Leclerc actually gets us into that first corner, but we should be getting back at him here. I would think. And I think I'm just going to deploy on Stroll. I think that is more viable. Latifi has lost out of that one position immediately again too. So, unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now for Stroll here, I would love it if we can, you know, just kind of sail off into the sunset. And it looks like it's somewhat viable. Maybe not. But that is going to be the hope. And for Latifi, he's just going to have to try and make the best out of it. Try and make his way back up. It's going to be difficult though, for sure. And for Stroll, I don't think this is going to really work. But it should create some gaps. Sorry, my throat is not working properly right now, which is why I'm making weird noises while speaking. But I'm thinking that it should create some gaps once, say, Leclerc and Verstappen gets DRS on us. That was a pretty sweet move, though, by Latifi, not gonna lie.
Use DRS.
And it looks like he's going immediately for a second one. Couldn't make it stick, though, but yeah. If the gap here that Leclerc... If that gap comes down and Leclerc gets DRS, we can hopefully aim for some stretches in the field. Because that's actually the main reason why we want to stick to one-stoppers. It's actually the fact that the entire field is usually just one big DRS zone. And starting on the soft here is going to potentially be bad for that, but we'll see. It'll just depend on when we pit, if we come out ahead of everyone else that pits as well. Right now, though, we're going to just keep things as is. It's kind of an okay situation. Stroll is still gaining, losing a little bit. But honestly, for now, we're just going to keep things as they are. And we'll see where we stand in 15 laps time. Well, less than that. Basically, once we start getting into the pitting area. We're getting very close to our pit window. Latifi's actually done well. He's been running within the top 3 for the most part of this race. We have gotten to the optimal pit stop lap here. So I'm thinking we are gonna, you know, make the most out of it and do pit. However, we also have the consideration here of where we're gonna come out. Currently, we'd be very close to this DRS streak in the back, which is gonna be painful for us, no matter how we look at it. But at the same time, we don't really have much of a choice. We're just gonna have to pit and try and make the best out of it. It's unfortunate. Latifi will have an easy time on Stroll because of it, but again, it just is what it is. We'll have to try the best out of it. As you can see, it was supposed to come out 19th, which would be Show's position. I think we'll come out a bit, you know, higher up than that, but we'll see.
Red Bull gained a place.
We will be pitting both our drivers here, and as you can see, Latifi has actually started falling back somewhat due to, well, tyre wear. Even running attack doesn't actually alleviate that. Stroll has got himself a 5-second gap though, which is really, really nice. He has been running, you know, pretty much all on his own there. And actually, a lot of the other cars here are actually pitting with us, so that is good. Stroll comes out 13th with a bit of free air. Latifi comes out 18th. Still losing out here, as you can see, which is unfortunate. He's losing out to both Ocon and Ricciardo. Probably should have waited a lap with pitting him. I didn't expect there to be that much of a population in the pits, put it like that. There were more cars there than I expected. So hopefully now we can also jump Albon and Gio. I think we should be able to. If not, I'm going to be sad for Latifi's sake. But yeah, it's a bit unfortunate for Latifi. There's nothing really more I can say to than that. We're just going to have to try and get by, you know, quickly and painlessly. So for now, we're just going to have to, I think, recharge a little bit, maybe push fuel. It could be enough to just push fuel here to get by. And for Rick, that was surely enough. Stroll's doing good. He's running fastest laps here. Latifi actually immediately just nabs that. So we do need to get by these two cars in front of us. They are slowing us down somewhat. Give Latifi overtake. He can use now fuel, energy, everything to try and just get by. We have 2 more pit stops going on, Perez and Schumacher. Latifi got 1 done, which should mean that he'll get the other one done by... Well, he immediately got redone, so didn't fully get him done, I guess. A bit unfortunate.
DRS is currently disabled.
It's like it's just running kind of blocked in there, which is very, very unfortunate. But so far it's looking good. Once everyone has pitted ahead of us, they will be behind us. So we'll have to see if this 2-stopper does pay out, but for now it should for Stroll. There are some gaps up in front where you should have no problem just, as I said, getting by. For now though, we'll be working on Latifi getting by, you know, his blockers. Stroll is looking very, very good here. As soon as we get by Behrman, it'll be looking a bit better. And then of course Vettel. So I'll be making steps as we get to them to get by. And we'll be picking our way up to the front here. Leclerc is currently the bigger threat. Verstappen did actually come out ahead of the gaggle there, so he benefited immensely. And as I said, Latifi is kind of stuck now in kind of a bad spot, honestly. It's going to be hard to make up those places. If he had actually done that, could have potentially blocked Verstappen. But right now it's going to be more of a challenge for him. But as we can see here, Stroll has basically capped his 5-second gap to the rest of the competition, which is very nice to see. And Latifi did come out here as kind of a big loser because we did that. I guess double stack is what it actually turned into, unfortunately. Just got stuck in the pits. Now that I'm actually thinking about it, I might have made the same mistake I made last year here in terms of the pit stops here. I believe last year too, we had someone take advantage of the fact that we pitted into potential traffic. But there is a bunch of pit stops happening now, and the gaps have started to form. So if we were to pit Stroll now, we'd come out where Russell, well, into these form here. But at the same time, I think it's actually beneficial to do so. In terms of lap times though, we're running 29.5s, they're running slower. So we'll run at least 1 more lap, I think, before we do the pit stop. Same here for Latifi, although honestly pitting him now is probably good. Leclerc does pit too, so let's have Latifi respond, put him on the softs, and we will have Stroll. Sorry, we do not want to retire Stroll, that would be very, very sad. So we'll have both Stroll and Latifi pit as soon as possible. Latifi is going to have probably some traffic to contend with, it's just the nature of things. But he'll have some free air here, and of course an easier time getting through the cars in front again. So that is kind of what I'm hoping for here. If he can get Behrman immediately, that will be good. Stroll is kind of again free here to pit. There are going to be some cars blocking him, possibly on exit. Norris, Verstappen, Russell, but he should still be out miles ahead of Leclerc. And that is the hope here. We have fuel to use, we have everything, so honestly for Russell, sorry, not for Russell, for Stroll, we don't really need to push too hard at the beginning here, but Latifi again, we do want to just try and push a little bit, catch up to Sainz, maybe fight Leclerc. because he did get screwed over on that first round of pit stops. There's just no way around it. It's just what happened. But Stroll is doing a good job here, just 1.7, 1.6 seconds behind the top 3. And again, that's just F2 kind of slowed the RS trains there to go through. So now that we caught up, we'll recharge a little bit. We will tune down Latifi just a tad. He should be fine, still catching up to Sainz. There's only, you know, Leclerc actually went on very used mediums. Look at that. Leclerc pitted onto these tires. So Latifi definitely has huge opportunities here, for sure. It's 11 laps to go. He is 12 seconds off the lead. He's lapping around the same time. So, no, that's Leclerc, sorry. That's Latifi. He's lapping 2.4 quicker. Over a second quicker. 16 seconds behind, 10 laps. He's going to have a rough time, but it's doable if he can, you know, get things going. For Stroll, though, now, we're going to be trying to move through the cars in front and, you know, get a bit of a gap here to, well, everyone else. Latifi there moves past Sainz. Not really a big surprise. Again, it's pretty expected. Just chewing through. Stroll did get one of his contemporaries, but, well, opponents. But he immediately got taken back. Switches it up again. And I think Verstappen now, too, should be no problem. I think it would just push the tyres here. Catch up to Norris, get him immediately, too. And try and see if we can break the gap down there to Verstappen. It's going to be a bit more difficult, of course, but I'm thinking it's doable. We'll have to see how high we manage to get Latifi, though, because he should really just be up there with Stroll. And I guess we won't be doing some double stacks. Even when, you know, the distance should imply that it's safe. It might not be.
Oh, did someone run wide there?
So what I'm thinking here is we have the gap to Verstappen, we have Norris with us, we can recharge, and then we can push away from Norris later on. Unless we already do while recharging. So I'll be focused on Latifi. Let's see how high we can get him before the end of the race. Honestly, just give him the overtake on Leclerc here. That should be more than enough. Can push a little bit of fuel too. And there we go. Gonna also have him just run aggressive instead of pushing fuel. And hopefully here we can get these 3 cars in front of us. I think it's going to be more difficult to get anything more than that, unfortunately, with the gaps that we have to, you know, up front. But we are going to need a little bit of energy, so we're going to farm that. Stroll still has Norris with him, which isn't a problem, let's be honest. The tyre difference is pretty big, so I'd say it's still very acceptable. We're going to push, we're going to deploy, get the McLaren a little bit more of a gap to Russell and Verstappen. It's actually going to benefit us if McLaren takes second here rather than a Red Bull. So, understandably, I have no problems with this scenario. So I'm thinking that we are going to try and get a push done here. It's actually being done without energy right now and on recharge, so we're going to switch it over so we don't lose that position. And Stroll has gotten his gap. We're going to put him down to neutral, just balance, and he should just coast now to victory. Now for Latifi, we still have 2 positions here to try and make up. And hopefully we can get that done before the end of this race. Just a couple of laps to go now. Doesn't look like we're going to get it done on this lap though, so we'll tune down the usage of everything. We are very close, don't get me wrong. But we are going to need some energy. We're going to save this lap, and next lap we will try and get a move done. Hopefully on both. We'll just go full on attack, I think. Well, we have technically 3 laps, so we can chill for 1 more. I think should be okay.
We've just had a spin.
Yeah, once we finish this next lap and we get into this section here to, well, everything, we're going to be giving him full power to the end. I don't want to push fuel just yet because aggressive does use more fuel. So we'll wait just a little bit with that. although it might be worth it just to get by the 2 cars in front.
So one more lap.
Might also have been that we've been sitting for too long behind and the tyres are not really giving us what we need. And I think that might be the case here.
That sounds like someone's gone wide there.
Go running wide. Fortunately not of interest to us right now. But yeah, looks like the Latifi just straight up isn't in... has been getting into position to make the move. We'll have a chance here, but as you can see, the Ferrari is quicker.
That's the flag.
So even with everything, we can't really get the move done unless we maybe take Bottas here.
Win today for Lance Stroll.
Stroll wins though, which is good. And Latifi, are you going to do a photo finish with Bottas, I guess? Did he beat Bottas? Sorry, it wasn't Bottas, it was Gasly.
Second flag.
I misidentified the cars, my bad. But this is acceptable. Again, I kind of screwed over Latifi with how we did the pit stops. He is the slower driver of the two, which makes it harder for him. But we got points there. He beat the Red Bull driver, which is generally what we want from him. Verstappen third, Norris second. We'll take that. It benefits us. And we have, I think once again, except for us, different cars in the top 8, which is, of course, points. With this now, we move a good 23 points ahead of Verstappen. This is huge. We get an extra 4 here, but it does give us a huge gap, which is very, very nice. The reason being that Leclerc is now down to 4th. Latifi still 3rd, but has been overtaken by Verstappen instead of Leclerc. And in the constructors now, we have 24 points on Red Bull. Looking a lot better than when we started this session already, which is very nice. We also get a point there for Stroll that we can invest into whatever we desire. Well, not whatever we desire, but we're going to invest it into reactions, and then the next point is going to go into cornering. Congratulations, board is happy. Very nice. We have Austria in just 4 days. I think we would have had Sidepods now if they were actually any good. Which they're not. It's just basically a cooling focus Sidepod. So we'll not be putting it on. We might put them on later. I don't think we have any other parts, but I'm just going to double check to be on the safe side here. And yes, we have put everything on the car. We have 3 projects running, so 16, 24, 26 days. This is also going to be quite a big upgrade package, honestly, because it's a front wing and an underfloor. So yeah, might need to, you know, as I said, slow it down. We have reached a point where we're actually getting a lot of pieces very quickly. But considering that we want to finish this quickly as well, I'm going to be loosening up the rules. Probably at the latter stages of this season, once we made all 4 parts, I can focus a bit on research. And once we've made, well, 4 of every part, I'll be able to focus a bit more on research. And next season, I might just remove all the shackles. So to make sure that we get everything done if we don't this season. But yeah, let's head into Austria and see how we do there. Quali is now done in Austria. As you can see, Latifi did not finish Q3. Very simply, the reason why is he spun by pit entry. Well, before pit entry. And that made him do an extra lap. So, once again, Q3 run out of fuel for Latifi, and it's just sad. He did it on the first run too, which means he had no chance of setting a good time. He will be starting 10th. Stroll, on the other hand, starting 2nd here, just a 10th behind Leclerc. We can be happy with that at least. But still, it's a bit annoying for Latifi to have, you know, taken a bit of a swirl here. He is starting 8th though, due to penalties taken by other drivers, so that is good. We are also going to have to take penalties at some point for Stroll, but for now it's not a real concern. Qualifying results, let's see here. One stopper is basically what I think everyone will be doing. Medium to hard, hard to medium, hard to soft. And the softs here will work for 30 laps, the mediums will work for 30 laps, the hards will work for 30 laps, but again, and the difference is very, very minor in the wear. and the pit lane is very long, so one stop is probably the best strategy here, just because of that. So, soft to hard could work for Stroll in particular, if he can get away. But, wondering how well that's going to work here. Now, the thing is, we actually do have 2 sets of hards, interestingly enough, because, well, reasons. And as you can see here, the softs are going to be working pretty well for the entire life cycle. This is going to also be pretty... Well, they don't actually survive long enough to make that work, but we could do this. Start on the softs, try and push, try and get away. Because anyone else who starts on the softs will be slow. We can actually do the same here for Latifi. And in terms of doing this and, say, switching over to medium, that's going to be virtually impossible. So we'll have to see what we do. We might change our strategy depending on, of course, safety cars, but I'm thinking starting soft and doing 25, 26, 27 laps on them before we go into the hards is probably just the better strategy here. One stopper will probably be more efficient too, because again, short lap should be DRS trains everywhere unless we have some incidents happening. So we'll do this, and if the opportunity arises, we'll change things around.
The crowd are ready, the cars are ready. It's the Austrian Grand Prix.
Medium hard, which means Stroll should have advantage in this in the start here by about 3/10. And not really getting it into the first corner, that's fine. Latifi is fighting the Ferrari. And as you can see, we're the only car on softs, which isn't that surprising. Apparently Stroll has put on some new softs for some weird reason. Should have checked, but yeah, he definitely has fresh ones. That's annoying, but nothing I can really do about that. So for Stroll here, we're gonna basically just deploy, try and push a little bit, try and get away. That definitely causes some problems for the strategy, for sure. That's basically why Latifi has more of a flexibility. But again, nothing we can do with that at this stage. We'll just have to try and make the best out of it. And honestly, that's really all we can do, just try and make the best out of it. Latifi's doing well. He's already up to 5th. And he will keep on climbing. Now, Verstappen took penalties, which is why he's this far down. But I'm pretty sure he will make his way up there. Again, he's taking penalties. He should be quick.
Check the DRS.
We did actually use all of the ERS there for Stroll. Well, I was just talking about something else. But honestly, it should be fine. We can just run Harvest for half a lap. Get a little bit to put in the neutral tank, and that should be good. Interestingly enough, the gaps have already started to kind of form here, which is very beneficial for us, honestly. And kind of negative here for Stroll. He might get caught, but I think we'll be safe. But if these gaps keep on forming, well, there aren't many of them. It's just a few around a second. But if we can get more of them forming, that will make our pit stop a bit easier. But for now, I'll be working on Latifi. As you can see, Leclerc is actually catching up to Stroll, so we'll have to see how quickly he closes down the gap, and if we can keep ahead or not. We'll see.
The replay. Now just focus on the Haas.
We've had a crash on track. No safety car, as far as I can see. Latifi's also had a bit of a minor moment. He ran slightly wide, cost him a couple of seconds. The others have quarters, which of course causes us some concerns. But let's face it, there's not really much we can do at this stage. We're just slow. That's it. They have better drivers, unfortunately. So we're just going to have Stroll kind of sit here. Latifi did run a little bit wide into this corner. Lost a couple of seconds. He was with Gasly, but as you can see, it's falling back now. Can't really do much for him here. Doesn't really have the resources to, you know, try and make something happen. So he'll be doing his own little race at this point. And we will be pitting within a nice 10 or so laps. And we'll just have to see where we come out, because right now we're coming out around Schumacher. And, well, this is the big train that we kind of want to try and avoid if possible. These boys. But at the same time, we are getting into, you know, pitting territory, so we'll have to deal with this one way or another. Yellow flag. Actually immediately vanished, but as you can see, Latifi is falling even further back. He's had another incident running wide, same with Gasly. But he's really just running slow at this stage. There's nothing much we can do. We will be stretching the tyres for just a couple more laps before we do pit. Stroll is still fighting with Norris. Generally, everything is looking good except for those 2 lockups from Latifi. Stroll and Norris just constantly changing places here, with Leclerc now in the mix as well. Verstappen is still 10th, so no real concern there just yet. But I'm thinking we're going to get Stroll in this lap. We're going to pit him. Expected is 16th, but I think he'll come out probably a little bit before that.
Let's close this gap.
And we have a pretty big gap here to Latifi, so we can pit him too. Fairly safely, I think. He does have 1 more lap in his tyres compared to Stroll. So I think we'll go 1 lap longer with Latifi. Honestly, it might not be worth it because he is falling backwards, I just noticed. So we'll get him in as well, and if we have a safety car or something, we might just, you know, take advantage of that. But for now, this is probably what we want to do. Just get both cars in, get them out here, and as you can see, Stroll actually comes out behind Albon, so a little bit in front of 16th here, which was expected with Ocon. Latifi does come out 16th though, and I don't think he'll have too much of a problem getting by the cars in front. They have been running their tyres for quite a while, so we do have tyre advantage at this point because we're on fresh tyres. Norris does actually pit now, so let's see if Stroll actually comes out ahead of him, which I would hope. Yeah, what is actually going on there? I kind of want to have a look there. So Norris actually came out ahead of us because we didn't get by the car quick enough. That's a bit of an unfortunate moment. And it kind of gave up there, I feel. But should be getting by, and we should be staying with Norris, which should be okay. Gasly does pit too. Albon kind of stepped out. A lot of cars are pitting. But we are staying with them here. Latifi is beating out some of them, which is good. He is ahead of most of them. Only Gasly here. Norris ahead of him in terms of cars who've already pitted. So that is very, very promising. Leclerc's not pitting. He's already on his way out.
That's a stonking lap.
So we'll have to see if we beat him. No, we didn't. We actually... Looked like we actually slowed down there just to kind of get in behind him, which is very disappointing.
That sounds like someone's gone wide there.
Latifi is still just doing his thing, but yeah, we're kind of letting them run their own race at this point, mostly. For now, though, even if we stay with Leclerc, everyone here, that should be okay. But at the same time, it's kind of worrisome. We'll have to see what we do here. Latifi is up into 11th. He is going to be chasing down Gasly and Ocon. Paris is still fighting him, though, so a little bit of back and forth there, most likely.
Mercedes moved up a place.
It's still very promising. We have 4 cars in front who haven't pitted. We have Albon, we have Ocon, so basically 6 cars in front. And in terms of which ones are within range, I'd say all of them. We could potentially get all of them here once they actually decide to pit. So
There's a spin.
Latifi is looking promising up to potentially 5th. Stroll here is still fighting with Leclerc and Norris. Honestly, we can just leave him be for the time being. Might want to have him just recharge his ERS so we have opportunities if, say, we get a red flag, if we get a safety car, anything really where we can. Well, having energy will be an advantage. So we'll recharge him. We'll take control of Latifi a little bit here, try and move him upwards. But for now, I'm thinking it's fine to just leave things running as is.
Now we see the Williams here.
As you can see, we caught up to Verstappen and Bottas, and they're currently kind of being a bit of a roadblock because they're on older hards. They're not going to be a roadblock for long, let's be honest here. But I am going to try and push outside of DRS, and it's not really working. The track is just too short for that. But I can use them as, you know, kind of a blockage to behind. Even if we pushed, it might have worked, but we'd be using all the energy, tire, basically every advantage that we're going to need for later. Latifi is recharged. We will be trying to move him forward though, so I'll be working on that. And we'll see where we're at once we get a little bit closer to the end of the race. So unfortunately, we have lost the connection here to Leclerc, and the reason why it's actually really simple is these 3 lads here: Russell, Behrman, and Tsunoda, who decided to, you know, let Leclerc go, and then spend 2.5 seconds blocking us, well, getting 2.5 second gap while blocking us to help out Leclerc. So it's problematic. I don't think we're going to be able to catch Leclerc back again, you see. We have worse tires, and we're generally running slower. We'd be waste all of our fuel, we'll waste basically everything just to try and catch up to him. Russell is still being a bit of an annoyance there. We might be able to, but at the same time, it's just very annoying when the back markers just straight up ruin races like this, because we had 3 cars fighting, and then the back markers just don't work properly. Honestly, they should just be given the order driving clean air whenever someone gets close to them.
Gain a position.
That will probably be the best way to actually handle the back marker situation, because they do yield, but as you can see now, he's in the mess and probably going to slow us down even more. So understandably, Russell is quicker, but
Looks like there's been a lockup.
he's also being an annoyance while being somewhat quicker, and as you can see, because of this, we've lost even more time to Leclerc, so I think we're just going to have to let him go. There's no other way around this, we're just going to have to let him go. Latifi is in a fight with Verstappen, Sainz, and that's even going to be a bit difficult too, because tires. So we'll have to try our best here. We do have fuel, we do have some opportunities, but for now we're just going to bide our time. And that, I think, is going to be the plan here.
That's a lockup.
Has been a bunch of yellow flags and, you know, stuff happening here though. Sainz ran wide.
Had a car run wide.
And again, the back markers here are going to be painful to deal with here. Russell's still just hanging on to us. And hopefully he won't be causing any more problems. Of course, if he was quicker, then it would be fine. He'd be able to run away. But the only reason why he's still with us is DRS. That's the problem. If he falls out of DRS, I'm pretty sure he's just going to disappear. We do, however, just have about 4 or 5 laps left. Latifi is fighting Verstappen. If Latifi beats Verstappen, we can still be happy. But we are going to have to try and get that second place from Norris. Just a bit of, as I said, a bit of a shame there with Leclerc and Russell being a bit of an annoyance. We could be lucky here now and have Show play MVP. Let's see what actually happens there. It might also be that we have too few laps for him to do anything. Okay, now actually Russell is being kind of helping us out a little bit there, but Show did not play in a malicious manner. I can generally say that. Now DRS is going to be a pain, but I'm thinking we just give overtake to Latifi. We're going to give push commands to Stroll as well. There's no reason not to. And we're just going to give full-on attack for this final lap. Same here. For Stroll, we're just going to give him deploy. And for Latifi, we're going to have to probably give him defend. Try and defend against Verstappen on this straight. If he can, it will be good. Stroll has gotten ahead. Now can he stay ahead? Latifi's also ahead. We'll have to see if he too can stay ahead. Leclerc wins, not Latifi. Stroll second, and Latifi secures fourth. So not a bad race by any means of the imagination. I'm just a bit upset that the back market allowed Leclerc to run away, but he was the quicker car today, so honestly, it's probably more fair that way. So, Leclerc wins, we get second and fourth, Norris third, Verstappen fifth, Magnussen, Sainz, and Giovinazzi finishes off the points. Giovinazzi scoring points for Alpine, it's very good for them. Driver Championship then, Stroll is still in the lead, but Latifi gets knocked down to fourth. Once again, equal with a Red Bull driver. Shared third here with Verstappen. Leclerc gains 2 points on Stroll, but we still have a 13-point lead. I'm still 23-point lead. I'm still very happy about that. Constructors then, we lose a point to Red Bull. They gain a little bit, but if this is how the season will go to its end, I think we're safe. Development point here for Latifi, which is good. We'll try and remember to put this one into braking. because I usually tend to forget lately. Chassis has been manufactured. At the point in braking, need to get him up to 90 ASAP, let's be honest there. Should probably do the same here for these to get them up to 80 before I start concerning myself with adaptability, but it's a limitation that I think would be interesting, so we're going to apply it to the rest of the game. We will be attending this, it's fine. Chassis has been manufactured, we're back up to 4. Vote on sporting changes, double points for last race. Sure, let's go for it. And the board is happy with us, everything's good. What it actually is our board expectation? I'm just okay, second or above, and constructor champion by 29. I think we're looking good on that. But I will be ending it here. It's probably in decent length. We'll have to see how we do the rest of the season. Might split it in 3, might split it into 2. But I'm thinking that I'm going to condense the next season, which will be the last season, into a bit more of a story rather than showing the full thing. Well, most of everything like I'm doing here. Maybe condense it a little bit more. Because I have at least one video on 23 that I want to get out, which basically is just everything that we know is changing, new features, things like that. So we have some. So I have some benchmark to go for to use to judge 23 when it comes out, based on what the devs themselves have said and what we've seen from streamers and other YouTubers. But with that in mind, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, help me out a ton. Please like the video, also help me out a ton. And I hope to see you around next time, which will be tomorrow. Bye bye.